All righty. Joining the show is Audacy MLB insider Jon Heyman. Insider calls presented by BetQL. Get access to data and insights the sportsbooks don't want you to see. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today. John's also the host of the Audacy original podcast, Big Time Baseball. In fact, take a listen to that. He had Mets owner Steve Cohen on today. He does that podcast along with Cody Decker, Tony Gwynn Jr., and they cover the entire major leagues.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it all.
How you doing? Good to be here.
Yeah. Okay, so the Giants had a tough offseason. They didn't get Judge, and the Correa non-signing obviously still lingers. What's your outlook for the San Francisco Giants this upcoming season?
Well, 2 years ago, they had the best record in baseball. Last year, they were about average. They're an unpredictable team. I liked some of their signings. I think Manaea has potential to do better than he did last year. Stripling, I think he's had not a great spring, but I like him. They did some good short-term signings. I know that Conforto, if healthy, can be outstanding. So, they look like an above-average team to me. Obviously, in a very tough division. Now that San Diego is a sudden powerhouse, the Dodgers are pretty good, too.
So, can I assume with the seventh playoff spot, you think they'll be in the mix for it?
Yeah, I think they're in the mix. I could easily see them getting into the top six. I see them as a contender. I don't see them as a definite, as I would say with probably San Diego and Los Angeles, but they're a contender.
John, let me ask you this, because the Giants shocked the world a couple years ago, won 107 games. I was floored. And, baseball, anything can happen. But they were in on Judge. They didn't get him. They were in on Correa. We know what happened with the medicals. I don't know. They got a season to get ready for, John. I told my partner and the fans, if they got a whiteboard, and I'm talking about ownership, it better have Ohtani's name written down 900 times. Like, this guy, to me, John, is two players. He's exactly what the Giants need. Talk to me about the Giant brass and what they would have to give or what it would take to land Ohtani here in the Bay.
Yeah, well, my opinion is he's probably not getting traded. I know a lot of people think that the Angels won't be in it, and then they'll trade him. But, they weren't in it last year. That was the time to trade him when there was still 2 years to go and the value was highest. So I don't think the owner, Artie Moreno, who's still the owner there, I do not think he wants to deal him. So I think it's going to be free agent, and I do think the Giants will be in. I think they're clearly a team that will be in. They obviously had the money for Judge, had the money for Correa. This is more money, but they've done very well from a business standpoint. They would like to get a superstar, and I would almost guarantee that they will be in. The Dodgers definitely will be in. That one's 100%. Giants close to 100% that they're going to be in. I think the Padres will likely be in. The Angels will be in to some degree. I don't think they're going to get them. So, he does want to go to the West Coast, so that's a positive. But on the other hand, he's tired of not being in the playoffs, and, looking at it from afar anyway, if you want to be in the playoffs every year, it's probably pretty easy to pick the Dodgers, isn't it?
John, let me follow up. Do you think Ohtani's impact, he's my favorite player because he's doing two things at once. And if you look at the NBA or all these other sports, it's about nights off and load management. Do you think we'll see more American-born baseball players take on the Ohtani model to where they'll be let to do both?
Yeah, it's really not encouraged in this country, and the reason it's not encouraged, I think, is because there isn't a history of much success with it. Obviously, Babe Ruth, although Babe Ruth, only did it for a little while. He was obviously a great pitcher, then he was a great hitter. It overlapped a bit, but not to this degree, where Ohtani is one of the top 10 sluggers in the game and one of the top 10 pitchers. It's really amazing. There have been guys who've dabbled, tried it, in the minor leagues, but It does not have a high success rate. This guy just an uber talent. He's unbelievable. I saw him in batting practice. I couldn't even believe where he was hitting balls. It was up basically against the back wall in New Orleans Park, and I see a lot of games there, and I've never seen anybody hit the balls there. I never. He's got the most power of anybody in the game, and he throws 100, and he's got great speed. He's one of a kind, and he's going to get $500 million plus, and probably deserve it. I mean, there's a question how long he's going to be able to do both, but while he does both, there is no player that even comes close to him.
Yeah, Jon Heyman joining us. He's our Audacy MLB insider. John, I'm a guy who grew up loving baseball, kind of fell out of love with it, lost a little interest. I'll be honest with you. You know what? I'm a little bit intrigued by the pitch clock, the bigger bases, the thing with the shift. I'm probably going to be more interested just off the bat to see that stuff. Do you think there are a lot of people like me?
I'm not sure about that. I do think that it will help because the games are shorter and there's more action, less dead time. I think a lot of people appreciate that. I certainly do as somebody with deadlines, East Coast deadlines. It is needed. And I saw there were some complaints from some players. I mean, baseball is going to be resistant to those complaints. They've spent a lot of time on this and gotten the 15 seconds after much research, and it worked well in the minor league level. And, it's going to happen, and it's a positive for baseball. I think it will help keep the interest of some of the younger people, such as yourself. But I don't think there's going to be a lot of people who've given up on baseball and then come back,
right?
Because there's bigger bases.
Right. Gotcha. Hey, John, thank you so much as always. Really appreciate it.
All right. Good talking to you guys. See you later.
Yeah.